While they over there running their mouth, I'm over here paying them no mind. See, I'm so tired of hearing these idiots call my name as Fani in a way to attempt to humiliate me. Because like silly schoolboys, the name reminds them of a woman's rear.
I really think that this photo of Fulton County Judge Ural Glanville just about covers it. I mean, just take a long, hard look, guys. 19 months, 6 defendants, and now a 3rd judge. So this whole Young Thug YSL trial, it's just a mess. Here, check out the news right here.
In a 10-page order, Judge Krause cited case law to support her decision that Judge Glanville should be recused. Judges shall disqualify themselves in any proceeding in which their impartiality might be reasonably questioned. Judge Krause continued, a judge has no interest in sitting on a particular case. At most, his interest lies in protecting his own reputation. His efforts at defending himself against a motion to recuse will inevitably create an appearance of partiality. One reason is that if he defends himself, he becomes an adversary of the movement for recusal. This adversarial posture may create an antipathy which persists after the motion to recuse is denied.
And just in time, too. People have said that Glanville shouldn't be allowed to judge a dog show, that he should be disbarred instead after all this. So Judge Glanville has been handling the intense RICO case with rapper Young Thug and others, and was recently pictured in a moment that pretty much just says it all. He's there with his elbows on the bench, face in his hands, just really kind of shows the deep frustration that's been hanging over the courtroom for the last 19 months, right up until the trial got paused. Glanville was removed from the case by a fellow Fulton County judge and is now on its 3rd judge, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Paige Reese Whitaker, being assigned the 19-month-old racketeering and gang case against the rapper and his alleged associates. So what do we do now? Start over and retry the case? Toss out the charges? Study up on the trial and start it back up? We'll just have to see, as Whitaker was named just hours after her colleague Judge Shukura Ingram recused herself because of a romantic relationship that her former courthouse deputy had with a co-defendant in the case. Yeah, guys, this trial, you guys, I'm telling you, it's all over the place. As Ingram put it, her situation could cause a reasonable person to question the court's impartiality, and reasonability would possibly give rise to the appearance of impropriety if she remained. This is exactly what defense attorneys have been telling Judge Glanville, but he refused to listen. As attorney Ashley Merchant, Fani Willis's rival and president of the Georgia Association of the Criminal Defense Lawyers, pointed out, before Glanville was ultimately forced to be recused, Mr. Steele is entitled to all the same due process rights that Mr. Williams and every other defendant in this courtroom is entitled to. He's entitled to those. One of those is to have a fair and neutral judge decide this case. And Steele wasn't even a defendant in this case. He's the defense lawyer representing Young Thug in this YSL trial in Fulton County. Now he wants the case dismissed, saying that this judicial and prosecutorial misconduct by Judge Ural Glanville, Lawyer Love, and Lawyer Hilton, Fani Willis's subordinates, denotes a disgraceful episode in Fulton County courts. You notice how I keep mentioning Fani Willis?
See, I'm so tired.
Because this recusal decision doesn't just affect Judge Glanville. It's also a direct hit on Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis.
Right now at 5 o'clock, oral arguments now scheduled in connection to the Fulton County election interference case against former President Donald Trump.
The former president's attorneys are appealing a judge's ruling that allowed Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis to remain on the case. The hearing is now set for December 5th, which is significant because it means the case against Donald Trump in Georgia will definitely not be resolved before the November election. The former president's team wants DA Willis removed from the case and the charges dropped over what they allege was an inappropriate relationship between the district attorney and the former lead prosecutor on the case. Nathan Wade resigned after Judge Scott McAfee decided that either he or DA Willis needed to step down.
Now, as former federal prosecutor Naima Ramani put it, there is the perception that Fulton County is just out of control. And who's at the very top of the pyramid? DA Fani Willis, who's also trying to pursue a case against former President Donald Trump. Honestly, we're seeing a pattern in both the type of people going after Donald Trump and what happens to people going after Donald Trump, if you know what I mean. When y'all say, well, all the details in today's video. Stay right there. By the way, if you haven't already, please take a second, hit the like button for the video. Thanks so much for subscribing. But honestly, guys, the more you learn about this Young Thug trial in Fulton County, the deeper the rabbit hole goes. For instance, I just talked about the original judge, Judge Glanville, right? Being forcefully recused from the trial. Well, right after that, the second judge, Judge Shukura Ingram, recused herself because of an ex-deputy's romance with a defendant. Check this out.
Welcome back. It's coming up on 12:15, and we've got breaking news regarding the YSL racketeering case that has taken place for months at the Fulton County Courthouse. Now, once again, the trial needs a new judge. Newly appointed presiding judge Shukura Ingram has now recused herself from the case. The judge cites the arrest of a Fulton County deputy who was once assigned to her courtroom, who was in a relationship with one-time co-defendant YSL Christian Eppinger. Now, even though Eppinger is no longer part of this trial, Judge Ingram ruled she should disqualify herself because the public could question her impartiality. Now, the judge's action follows the removal of presiding judge Ural Glanville from the case. Another Fulton County judge removed Glanville, who was Fulton County's chief superior court judge, after weeks of contention between Judge Glanville and defense attorneys. Right now, there is no word on when a third judge will be appointed or when that trial will resume. But of course, we will keep you posted.
19 months, 6 defendants, and now a third judge. Seriously, guys, you just can't make this stuff up. Now, just to show you the timeline here, Monday, Judge Ural Glanville was recused from the trial against his will. Tuesday, the case was in limbo while waiting for the new judge. Wednesday, Judge Shukura Ingram was randomly assigned to the case. Later that Wednesday, Ingram recused herself because of a romantic relationship her former courthouse deputy had with a co-defendant in the case. And later that Wednesday, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Paige Reese Whitaker was assigned to handle the 19-month-old racketeering and gang case against a rapper and his alleged associates. Now, literally, guys, Whitaker was named just hours after her colleague recused herself. Kind of makes me think that this whole case, maybe even the whole Fulton County justice system, is just so radioactive that nobody wants to touch it, you know? So Judge Ingram decided to recuse herself or remove herself from the case because her former deputy, Akiba Stanley, got involved with the defendant and may end up testifying. She felt it was important to step aside to keep things fair, since she'd be in a tough spot having to judge Stanley's credibility if she stayed on. In her order removing herself from the case, Ingram said that the former deputy was assigned to and responsible for the courtroom and personal security of her for nearly 6 months. In fact, the deputy was still assigned to Ingram when investigators discovered her relationship with Eppinger, one of the defendants. Stanley was in charge of courtroom security, ended up forming a personal relationship with the defendant, Eppinger. Their interaction was pretty noticeable. They'd exchanged smiles and messages in the courtroom, which definitely raised some eyebrows. But things went further than just smiles, though. Turns out Stanley was helping Eppinger get contraband into his cell and was caught comforting him after rough moments in court. According to the sheriff's office, Stanley fostered an inappropriate relationship with Eppinger by visiting his cell and allegedly conspiring with one of his relatives to deliver prohibited items. According to a warrant, Eppinger allegedly used his attorney's laptop to message people through Instagram, with deputies later learning Stanley was one of the people he was in contact with. Now, because of all this, the situation escalated to where Eppinger's lawyer's laptop was seized and Stanley herself got hit with a whole bunch of charges. Since then, Eppinger has been linked to a jailhouse stabbing, and he's picked up 1 or 2 more felonies for charges for allegedly threatening sheriff's office staff. So Stanley was charged with conspiracy to commit a felony, hindering the apprehension or punishment of a criminal, reckless conduct, and violating her oath of office. With Eppinger already in deep water for serious crimes, including shooting a police officer, this drama around his relationship with Stanley only adds another layer of complexity to an already intense case. But honestly, guys, the real win for me here is how Judge Ural Glanville was finally recused from the case after a whole lot of questionable activity and behavior as a judge. In fact, people are counting it as another win against corrupt judges who are a total embarrassment to the judicial system, not to mention just a shameful waste of American taxpayer money. You know what I mean? Now, I just hope that you guys are finding the breakdown of the Young Thug YSL trial as eye-opening as I do. Now, if you're as intrigued by these twists and turns in the courtroom as we are, don't forget to hit the like button. It really does help out the channel. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications. We are deep diving into cases like this one all the time, and I really wouldn't want you guys to miss out on any updates. So anyway, let's get back to the details. So what's next for Young Thug, and what could this mean for Fulton County's justice system and DA Fani Willis? Well, attorney Ashley Merchant, president of the Georgia Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, she gained a lot of national notoriety by arguing that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis should be disqualified from overseeing Donald Trump's election interference interference case due to what may have proven to be an inappropriate relationship with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade. And she had a part to play in it too, defending against the injustice perpetrated by Judge Ural Glanville in Fulton County. Before the not-so-good judge was ultimately recused from the case, Ashley Merchant drew renewed attention when she became the defense attorney for another attorney, Brian Steele, who was representing rapper Young Thug in the Young Slime Life trial. You see, Steele was arrested and ultimately held in contempt of court after he confronted Judge Ural Glanville about a conversation reportedly held between judge, prosecutors, and a star witness. An ex parte meeting that left out the defense team altogether, as many have called it since. And Ashley Merchant pretty much summed up everything wrong with Judge Ural Glanville in the case. She said Mr. Steele is entitled to all the same due process rights that Mr. Williams and every other defendant in his courtroom is entitled to. He's entitled to those. One of those is to have a fair and neutral judge decide this case. So what's next? Well, Steele is calling for a dismissal of the case altogether. Check this out.
Superior Court Judge Shukura Ingram has been appointed after Judge Ural Glanville was removed today.
This all centering around a private meeting last month between Judge Glanville, prosecutors, and a witness. The defense was not included. 11 Live's Cody Alcorn is live outside the Fulton County Courthouse in downtown Atlanta. So, Cody, a lot of folks wondering what happens now.
Well, Jennifer and Ron, just a couple of hours ago, I spoke to DeMonte Kendrick's attorneys, and right now they are drafting up a motion for a mistrial that they hope to have filed by the end of the week.
They have lost sight of the duties of a prosecutor.
That's attorney Doug Weinstein.
I am the attorney for DeMonte Kendrick, also known as Yak Gotti.
Young Thug's co-defendant in one of the country's most watched trials. Weinstein claiming
We've seen some bias from the judge.
Arguing the private meeting last month between Judge Glanville, prosecutors, and their sworn witness, Lil Woody, was the final straw.
We wouldn't have filed this motion if we didn't believe it should be granted.
As Attorney Steele put it, in his filings, his client's fundamental constitutional rights were trampled, ignored, and violated as a result of an improper and unethical meeting. And he wasn't shy about it either, as he named all the members of that meeting, including prosecutors from Fulton County DA Fani Willis's office. He said that Judge Ural Glanville, Lawyer Love, and Lawyer Hilton have prejudiced and tainted Mr. Williams' trial so deeply as Judge Ural Glanville has not acted as a judge, but morphed into an essential part of the prosecution team. He went on to say that this judicial and prosecutorial misconduct denotes a disgraceful episode in Fulton County courts. Now, apart from recusing Judge Glanville, the motion asked to disqualify Deputy District Attorney Hilton and Assistant District Attorney Love from the case because they have stolen forever Mr. Williams' opportunity to have the trial heard by a jury in a constitutional and statutory firm manner. It's also been requested that Young Thug is released from custody and cleared of all charges based on prosecutorial and judicial misconduct. And, well, we saw what happened with Judge Ural Glanville. Many are saying that this is great news, that his ego needed to be checked, and that it was. Now, the next target is Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. As former federal prosecutor Naima Rahmani explained it, the Brian Steele contempt circus was a bigger embarrassment to the judge than the DA's office. But there still is plenty for Fani Willis's office to be concerned about. As he summed it up, there is the perception that Fulton County is out of control. Now, aside from the private meeting and the judge's decision to sentence Brian Steele behind bars for not exposing his sources, the trial has also made headlines because of one of the defendants having been stabbed in jail. A witness revealed that an investigator from Willis's office asked her out on a date during the investigation, and drugs were distributed in the middle of the courtroom. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up, guys. Now, this is coming from the same place where DA Fani Willis is being investigated for what many people are saying was an inappropriate relationship with her own special counsel hire, Nathan Wade. As Rahmani put it, Willis has botched both cases because of these self-inflicted mistakes in charging and trying too many co-defendants at once. And those decisions have ground both proceedings to a screeching halt. Fani Willis's Trump case and the former president's federal election subversion case are currently on hold, with the Supreme Court's recent ruling on presidential immunity making their future basically pretty uncertain at this point. Trump-appointed U.S. District Attorney Eileen Cannon also dismissed the ex-president's federal classified document Freedman's case in Florida, ruling that special counsel Jack Smith's appointment was unconditional. So what exactly am I saying here? Well, just never bet against Donald Trump, because that bet's probably going to be a hard win to say the least. Just ask the likes of Jack Smith and Fani Willis. But what do y'all think? Do all of these judicial and prosecutorial mishaps just show you like a bad pattern in our justice system? Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. And hey guys, don't forget to check out our other video in a pretty intense and fiery exchange. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre was put on the hot seat by Fox News' Peter Doocy, and it is a must-see moment, guys. So definitely check that one out after this one. More on this and other important news that matters to you in the next one, guys. Make sure you're always subscribed and have that bell on. Till next time, thanks for watching. Stay vigilant.